For about a year, I kept a journal to just document my thoughts. I didn't want anything structured, no prompts, no routine, and no goal, but just to kind of see what would happen. I wrote in it when I wanted to, and I wrote about whatever was in my head. Some entries were pages long, some were a single sentence, but most of them weren't good, and that was the entire point. They weren't supposed to be anything. It was the one place I had where I wasn't trying to get something. It was a comfortable place. When something was bothering me, I would write until it made sense. When nothing was bothering me, I wouldn't write at all. It was a place for freedom, really. But then I had an idea, and I thought, what if I took these entries, these private, unfiltered thoughts, and made something out of them? What if I shared them? What if this became the thing that I make? And so I created this account with the hopes to spread these ideas to you. And I want to be clear about how good that idea felt. It wasn't fueled by greed or corruption of anything, but it was genuine excitement about something I actually cared about, and I loved the idea. I still love it, and that's the reason that this exists. But the moment that idea entered my head, something in the journal changed, and it didn't change slowly. The next time I sat down to write, I wasn't writing the way I used to. I'd put down a sentence, and immediately I was somewhere else. I was thinking about how I would sound to somebody else, whether the thought was interesting, whether it could be used. I was no longer just having the thought. I was watching myself have it and grading it in real time. I want you to notice how fast that happened. It didn't take weeks, not gradually, or even as I built an audience. It seemed that the instant the thought left the confines of my own mind and became something that might be seen. There was no actual audience. There still isn't, really. But just in case, I started writing for them anyway. My journal is a reflective space. It's quiet, it's slow, and it's the place where I'm most likely to catch a shift like this. The contrast was so sharp that I noticed it almost immediately. I knew exactly what writing freely felt like, so I could feel the moment it disappeared. But if something can hijack my thinking that fast and that silently, in the one place I'm guaranteed to notice it, how often is it happening everywhere else where I'm not paying attention? Once I saw it for the first time, I started seeing it everywhere. I think it's human nature to perform, to show people a version of yourself that's a little better, a little safer than the real one, and there's a strange logic to it. If I write as someone who isn't quite me, then rejection can't actually touch me. It's not my work being ignored, it's the characters. The lack of views wouldn't say anything about who I really am, because who I really am was never the one being questioned. It sounds insane to say out loud, because I'm not even doing this for an audience. I'm doing it for myself, and I still feel like I need to impress you guys. There was no one watching, and the possibility of being watched was enough to change what I wrote. And it isn't just about writing either. For most of this year, I studied for my exams by doing old papers, the real, official ones, usually harder than anything my school would actually give me. And I'd score in the high 80s, low 90s over and over again. I was able to do it. But the proof was sitting right in front of me, repeated enough times that it couldn't be luck. Then I'd sit down for the one that counted, and I'd get a 70, over and over again. Same skill, easier material. The only thing that changed was it was worth grades. And the second it mattered, I stopped trusting myself. I'd read a question, I'd know the answer, and then I'd start wondering about what the markers wanted instead. I talked myself out of answers I had right. There's even a rule they tell you about tests. When you're unsure and want to change an answer, your first instinct is usually correct, and to leave it alone. I knew that, and I changed them anyway. The stakes went up, and I got worse at something I already knew how to do. That's the same thing that happened in my journal. The exact same mechanism, wearing different clothes. The moment that things stopped being mine and started being judged by an audience, by a marker, by anyone, I handed the authority over my own thoughts to someone who wasn't even in the room. So once you see it in two places, you kind of can't stop noticing it in others. How much of my day was actually mine? When I pick what to wear, am I choosing it, or am I choosing what I want to be seen in? When I have an opinion, is it mine, or is it the one I think holds up the best when I say it out loud? When I decide I like something, a song, a film, an idea, am I responding to the thing itself, or to some imagined room full of people watching me respond to it? I genuinely don't know. And that's not me being dramatic for a video, it's an actual problem that I have. The observer is so quiet and so fast that I can't reliably tell the difference between something I truly want and something I'm performing. The only reason I caught it in the journal is that the journal is supposed to be the one place the observer wasn't allowed. Everywhere else, there's no clean version to compare against. The performance and the real thing look identical from the inside. So I spent a while thinking there was no answer here. That once you learn to perform for the observer, you're stuck with it forever. And I guess part of that is true. You can't delete it. You can't decide to just be authentic, because the decision to be authentic is one more thing you'll catch yourself performing. The observer doesn't leave when you tell it to. It just adds your attempt to escape it to the list of things it's watching. But there's a difference between getting rid of it and seeing it clearly. You can't stop the observer from showing up. What you can do is notice it the moment it arrives, and that's the whole skill and kind of getting rid of it. You can't silence the voice that asks how this looks, but you can learn to recognize it the second it starts talking, so you know which voice you're listening to. When I write now, I can sometimes feel a shift, the exact point where I stop saying what's true and start saying what sounds good. I don't always stop it, but I can see it. And sometimes it gives you a chance you didn't have before. And that's the only thing that worked for me. There was no real fight to win, but you can know what happens when it happens, and that way you can help prevent it. So I'll leave you with this. The next thing you do, anything, the very next choice you make, I want you to try and catch it. I want you to see yourself judging, guessing what other people will think, or even just trying to perform for other people. And I want you to see if you're really choosing it, if this is what you really want to do, or are you just choosing how it looks to other people, what they want you to be, or what they want to see out of you.